right, guys, welcome back to Out of Left Field. I'm your host, ALonzo, and today I am joined by none other than Leah Boggs, who is actually our first ever professional softball league player on the podcast. I'm super stoked. I just told you, I think there's a lot of space to learn about the PSL and what's going on in softball, so I figured, you know what, we got to reach out to Kansas City Diamond and figure out what they're building over there. So Leah, if you would introduce yourself to everybody who might not know who you are.
Yeah, hi guys. My name's Leah Boggs. I played 4 years at the University of Virginia, and I play for the Kansas City Diamonds in the Professional Softball League, and this will be my 3rd year playing pro ball.
So take me back to, you were actually the first, correct me if I'm wrong, the first player to sign with the Diamonds, completely new franchise. What does that mean to you? What was that process like? Unfold it for us.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, it's such an honor, honestly. And I think that, I've always said that if you want to be great, you have to surround yourself with great people, and that's in all aspects of life. And I feel like the Diamonds and the organization in general is just surrounded by great people and a great community and great fans. So it's been really exciting getting to know everybody that's involved. And yeah, so the process was actually kind of fate, as I would say it. So I had played 2 previous years, or I guess I had played 1 previous year in the league for the Chattanooga Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And after I finished that season, I decided I wanted to get into coaching. So I moved to Boston, started coaching at Boston College, and once I, got into it, I loved coaching, and, I love learning the game and teaching the game and watching people develop. But I just wasn't ready to let it go yet, and I thought that I would have been once I started coaching. I was like, this is my next chapter. This is what I want to go all in on. And so once our season ended at Boston College, I was like, man, I want to keep playing. Like, I'm not done yet. And I always told myself, and I tell everybody that asks me about it, like, you can always get back into coaching. You can't always pick up a softball bat and still be healthy enough, good enough to do it. And so I was like, if I'm going to play, this is the time to play. So I called up one of the other coaches in the PSL, who's a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a really long time, and he actually coaches the Florida Vibe. And I was like, hey, I'm not done yet. Like, if you hear of any opportunities, let me know. Pass my name along, whatever it is. And he was like, actually, there's this new pro team in Kansas City that is doing like a week exhibition, so they're not even doing a full season. They might have their roster already set, like they're probably not looking for players, but I'll give you his number anyways. And I was like, perfect, yeah. So I called Jeremy up, and I was like, hey, I'm a catcher. I want to play. I love softball. Like, if you find yourself in need of a catcher, let me know. And he was like, well, turns out today my catcher just dropped out of the league, so I need a catcher. Can you be here in 4 days?
Holy
And
cow.
I was like, absolutely. I'll be on the flight whenever you want me to be. Like, I'll be there.
Wow.
And I had nothing. All of my gear was in Ohio, where I'm from, and I wasn't planning on playing again, so I left it at home. And I had been, throwing with girls that I was coaching, but I hadn't been training hardcore because I wasn't planning on playing.
Ooh.
And so 4 days, I threw 3 times a day, hit twice a day, all in, worked out. I had been working out the whole time, so that was I was in shape.
Yeah.
But softball wise, I was like, whew, this might be rough.
Yeah.
But it went great. I showed up there, had a phenomenal time. It was one of the best professional experiences that I had had at the time, and it was only for a week. And after that, I I got picked up by 2 other teams in the PSL. So once that season ended, the New York Rise called me and were like, hey, we need a catcher for a week until our catcher gets back. Can we sign you? And I was like, yep, I'll be there. Went and played for them for a week.
Wow.
The contract ended with them. The Florida Vibe called me, hey, you want to finish out the rest of the season with us? We need a catcher. And I was like, yeah, count me in. Here I am. But, yeah, that was
a wild ride. A lot happened in a short span of time. explain to me, and if this is an ignorant question, let it be ignorant, but I want to learn. I'm new to PSL language too and how it works as well. So break it down for me. You're talking about different teams are picking you up and giving you calls. Can you come catch for us? So for somebody who is new to the space, like 101 PSL, give it to me.
Yeah. So this is actually the first year that the PSL is a thing. So all of the teams that are in our league were previously independent, like independently owned organizations, and so they just played random schedules. We all know each other because we played against each other.
Right.
But this is the first time that it's actually become a conjoined league with, league rules and expectations and schedules and a postseason. So this will be the first time that we play for a championship. So yeah, I expect to win that.
We'll clip it when it happens. I'll put this little clip back on social media whenever you win the first championship. Okay, I want to dig into more about the PSL and where softball is right now, but I actually want to get to your story first. So take me back to younger Leah. You're from Ohio. You won the PGF Nationals with the Beverly Bandits, if I remember correctly. And then you chose Virginia. And at the time, Virginia wasn't necessarily a powerhouse softball program. So what was it that drew you to go there, to go play there?
Yeah, so I originally had committed to Pitt back before the rule change and when I was in 8th grade. And that was when they had won the ACCs that year. And so I was like, oh, it was close to home. I'm set. I'll figure it out. And then my junior year came, and the whole coaching staff had left Pitt. And I was like, well, crap. What do I do now? What is going to happen? And I opened up my recruiting, and that was right after the rule change. So then I had to wait a month until I could even talk to college coaches again after being young and being able to talk to whoever I wanted when I was being recruited. And I went to PGF Nationals and did unreal. I hit 500 and I was just unreal that week. And Coach Joe and the Virginia coaching staff, they had come and watched every single game that I was down there. And I went on a visit there, and she had talked a lot about, the growth of a program and being a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that is something that really resonated with me. And, I have always loved, the aspects of the game that were more about relationship building and, growing and learning. And I was like, you know what, that sounds like something that I really want to be a part of. And so I committed to Virginia when they had no softball field. I took my official visit pictures in a hard hat in front of a dirt mound that was going to be our softball field.
Oh my God.
I just bought into the dream of building a program, and I got to. I wouldn't trade my college experience for anything, because my first year we won 15 games total, and it was a rough year. It was right after COVID, and I'm a competitor, and I was like, this is not gonna work. We gotta win the game. And by my senior year, there was a lot that happened in between there, but by my senior year we had won 7 out of 8 ACC series, broke every school record, went to the second ever NCAA appearance in program history, and then went to the first ever regional championship in program history. So it just was such an incredible journey from going from bottom to working our way all the way to the top of the ACC and being competitive and making a system that works to where now Virginia is top 25 and has been top 25 every year since. So
when you look back at your journey from recruiting through college, you didn't necessarily have a straight path. You commit to Pitt and the coaching staff changes. You then buy into a dream, like you said, with Virginia, where you're literally in front of construction of a new softball field that did not exist yet. And then you go through a rough patch where you guys can't figure out how to win games. What did you learn about yourself through that process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing that I took away from that is that nobody else is in control of your performance and your development. You are in control of that. And what you do and how you show up every day and how you take care of the little things in life, not even just on the softball field, translates, those small things translate into big strides. And like you can see that throughout my career that I had with Virginia, the strides that the program had. But I feel like also one thing that that was kind of weird, but ended up benefiting me was I had a different coaching staff, like assistant coaches every year. Like my head coach stayed the same, but like I had, a whole new assistant coach staff rotate in every single year. And I think that was a blessing, honestly, because, somebody might say that that's hard. Now you have to learn, new hitting styles, new fielding styles, new things in general about how to work with that coach. But networking is so important in this game and in life that I, had so many people in my corner that when I graduated college and was like, I think I want to get a job. Like, I think I want to. I like texted my coach from my first year that was an assistant coach, and I was like, hey, I want to coach. Let me know if you hear anything. Like, what can I put you on my resume? And he was like, yeah, I'll text a coach right now. Got me a job at Boston College literally that week.
Wow.
It was just all these things happen, and you don't realize in the moment. It might feel tough in the moment, but like it honestly was setting me up to be where I am today.
And I love that you pointed out the perspective of like most people would think that's really hard. And it is hard. I'm not taking anything away from that. When your coaching staff is changing every year, that can be difficult, but your perspective on it of I'm meeting more people, I'm able to network, and you're learning a lot of different views of the game. Like you're getting insight from all kinds of different people. So I respect your perspective on that. You are one of the best ACC defending catchers. You literally led the conference in runners caught stealing. That's a tough job to do. What goes into catching, and what do you wish people knew more about the position and the grind that it is that people on the outside don't see?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like being a catcher is like being not on the sidelines, but like people only recognize you if you screw something up. Like there's so much that goes into it. Like every time that you catch the pitch is like you're fighting for every single pitch, and if you make one mistake, you put the pitcher in a tougher position. Like if I pull a ball out of the zone in a 1-1 count, now she's in a 2-1 count rather than a 1-2 count, and that puts us at a slighter disadvantage. So there's just like every single time that you touch the ball, you make an impact on the game, and that's pressure, but pressure is a privilege. And that's like my favorite part about being a catcher is just, not only are you doing your craft, but, I am constantly reading body language of all of my teammates, all of the pitchers. And like, I think that you have to be thinking about so many things that you aren't able to get stuck on yourself and be, I don't want to say like self-centered, because even if you are focused on yourself, like you have to be able to, execute and do what you need to do. But like having that perspective of being able to, pour into the people around you rather than just focusing on yourself is just like one of my favorite parts of being a catcher.
I love that you brought that up. And I feel like sometimes it can be almost a little bit of a thankless job because all eyes are on the pitcher and you're putting a lot of pressure on the pitcher, but you've also got a lot of responsibility to make sure that you frame it correctly and that you make the right pitch call. Like there's a lot that goes into it that people's eyes aren't on you, they're on who's in the circle. So a lot of the people that watch this are young girls who want to eventually play in college or want to go pro. Now, how exciting is that we have like a whole space where people can play, or little girls can play professional softball. But for those catchers, what things should they be doing at the age of 12 to 15 to really, really get good at being behind the plate?
Yeah, I mean, watch softball. The more that you are watching high-level athletes, surround yourself with high-level athletes. Like, you don't want to be the best person on your team. As much you do, but like in reality, iron sharpens iron. So if you are by far the best person on your team, you need to level up and you need to surround yourself with people that are going to challenge you, because that's the only way we learn. And, this game is a game of failure, but failure doesn't really exist, because as long as you're learning from that failure, like, that's a stride in the right direction, and now you know what you need to do to avoid not executing in that situation again. So
Woo, you're dropping gems left and right. There's going to be so many social clips that I'm pushing out this week. We kind of touched on it a little while ago, but you coached at Boston College, which whole different ball game to be in the dugout and seeing it from a different angle. What did you learn through your coaching process that you think is going to make you a better player in professional softball?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like, and anybody who's gone into coaching can probably say the same thing. I feel like I am a better player because I became a coach. Like, I feel like after I graduated, I became an even more like elite player because I was able to, try and communicate what I'm seeing in multiple different ways, because now I'm not just working on myself, I'm working for, 25 different girls. Right. I have to be able to communicate with them, and I have to be able to like understand that there's not really one right answer to many things in softball. Like, whatever is most natural for your body is, what's going to produce the best results for you. And that is like something that I didn't learn playing myself. Like, I feel like I was always trying to be somebody else, or trying to like, use other people as inspiration, which is good, but like I never truly like found what worked for me. And I feel like after coaching, I was like, things clicked. Like, I understood the game at a higher level, because the coaches really do like have to, research everybody and know so much about the game that, you don't realize how much is going on behind the scenes when you just show up to the field and play.
I literally just had a conversation this week with one of our pitching gurus here. He's incredible, was in big league ball. Now he does a lot of pitching development. And we talked about the humility in coaching and how there kind of is a little bit of a lack of it, because the accountability of knowing that your way is not the way, right? Mm-hmm. Every player is different. People respond differently to different techniques, different fundamental, like everything is different. And as a coach, you have to be able to cater to each kid or each, player, depending on what they respond to and what works for them. So when you would find yourself in a position as a coach where maybe a kid is struggling or they're trying to find themselves as a player, how do you help them do that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said it before, I was encouraging girls to really understand themselves, because I didn't understand myself as well. So like, the more you take control of your development and just like try different things out and don't be afraid to fail doing something different, that's only going to make you better. If you feel like you're stuck in, that I don't know what I'm doing phase of hitting, fielding, whatever it is, because we've all been there. And like, the more you understand yourself and how to get yourself out of those places, the better you're going to be, because we all fail, but it's like whoever bounces back the quickest are the most successful. Ooh. So
absolutely. Well, you're not just playing for the Diamonds, you're also in player relations and communications coordinator, right?
Yeah.
What the heck, girl? I mean, first season of the PSL, it's not enough just to be in uniform to go bust ass on the field every day. Yeah. You're going to take a front office role too. So explain, what the heck was the decision-making process there? What made you want to do it? What is that job?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I love softball, and like, that's what I'm passionate about. And I feel like any chance to grow the game, I'm going to jump at. And I felt like talking to Jeremy and like being a part of it last summer, I could see his vision and I could see, where this was going, and I wanted to help be a part of it. And a lot of what I do is just, because I've played for so many different teams, which some may say is like weird, but I also found it to be a blessing, because now I have so many different experiences in different organizations. I know what worked well, what didn't work well, and like Jeremy and I communicate a lot about like, how I believe professional softball should look, and how, if you're going to do this, you need to do it right. And I wanted to be a part of making sure that like we were doing this right and we were creating great opportunities for girls, because let's be real, there's only, there's 6 for AUSL, 7 for us, so there's 13 teams total in the U.S. that have opportunities to play, give girls opportunities to play, and, that's not a lot. We want to keep girls here, and so we want to be able to create a structure that can be put into place just to start now, but to expand forever to where there's so many opportunities here. Girls don't have to, if they don't want to, fly to Italy, fly to Germany and Mexico and play there. They can have a life here and play softball and do what they love in the States.
The amount of professional players that I've talked to that are literally either we had something scheduled, but they're in Japan and we're on a 13-hour time difference. Like, it is insane the amount of huge, great athletes that have to get out of the country for a few weeks to go perfect their craft and keep their professional career going because the opportunities just aren't here yet. That brings me to my next question. With the AUSL had their inaugural season last year, expanded this year, 6 teams, home cities and all. So it's growing. On the PSL side, what was the driving factor in, hey, we need to take all the independent teams and make it a league? Like, was it just to create more opportunity? Is it, break it down on what the reason for the PSL was?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, to create more opportunity for girls, and already we're seeing that happen. Like, there's teams that are calling and wanting to join in maybe next year or start the process or learn the process of bringing a team to their city because they're seeing how well different cities are buying into having professional softball in where they're at. And so the PSL is coming together so that we can become a bigger stage and we can get more public eyes on us so that people want to be a part of it and want to help expand it, because you need a lot of help to be able to do it. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, but if you have the right people and you're in the right city, it is so worth it.
I gotta ask, because I've seen some feedback from softball fans, or let me put it this way, AUSL fans who are very deep and loyal to the AUSL, a bit skeptical about and this is not everybody, let me make that very clear, but I have seen things of just skeptical about the PSL, and is it competition for the AUSL? What would you say to somebody who may think that?
I would say that, if they feel like it's competition, then you're probably doing something right. That means that things are starting to come together.
Hey.
And not that we want it to be competition. At the end of the day, we want it to be more opportunities for girls to be able to play. And I think that, you see it. Even, we can't take everybody. AUSL can't take everybody. There's a lot of really talented college girls that aren't going to get drafted this year that hit 500 and had 20 home runs, but they're not going to be able to go to a team because there's just so few opportunities. And I think that, yes, we're 2 different leagues, but at the end of the day, we're both looking to do the same thing, and that's give girls more opportunities to play.
Come on, more teams, more spots, more softball. Love it. I know it's kind of out of pocket to ask, considering you guys haven't even started your inaugural season, but what's the long-term goal for the PSL? Where do we want to be in 10, 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to make this a sustainable thing, to make it eventually a livable wage to where you can be a softball player. That's your profession. You don't have to play 2 months in the summer and then travel around the world to play softball if that's how you make your money, or go find another job to be able to support yourself and your family so that you can play softball. We want softball to be able to support the players. And I think that the long-term goal would be to continue expanding, but continue making the opportunity even better to where, you're getting paid. You have a longer season, so you get to play longer. Our season's only a couple months, and it's not a lot of time to, get to play your game. And yeah, I mean, that's really it.
When people are going to ask, where can I watch? Because I get it all the time. Where are the games going to be played?
Yeah, so we are streamed on the All Women's Sports Network. So most of our games are on there, on that platform, which is, I think, almost every household in the United States has access to that, depending on their plan. And so, like, yeah, that puts you on a big stage already. Our games, obviously, you can get tickets. We open up in Kansas City on June 17th. So our first home games then, we sold over 2,000 tickets the first 24 hours that we started selling tickets.
What?
So, yeah.
That's insane. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Wow.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah. And I have to ask you what this means to you, because the sport in general is exploding. We look at the media deals that are coming out, the NIL deals, like it is exploding. But you are a key part of building an entire league during the explosion of the sport. I just actually got goosebumps saying that out loud, but what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't even thought about it like that. Like, it's just such an unreal feeling that, like, I feel like I've just been putting my head down and, like, I'm like, this is supposed to happen. Like, this is supposed to be the way that it is. Like, it's not, like, a crazy thing that we're doing this, when in reality, this is a really, really cool thing that I have the opportunity to be a part of. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm just so grateful that I met the people that I've met and had the opportunity to, start at the ground level and get this thing rolling, because it's only going to take off from here. Like, especially in Kansas City, our fans, the community has bought into us being in Kansas City, and it's just unreal to see. And our team, we have 0 girls right now that are from Kansas City or have been in Kansas City yet, and we already have so many people supporting us, and they haven't even met us. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when we're there every day interacting with fans and being a part of the community.
I swear by this. I've covered a lot of sports, a lot of different teams. The softball fan bases are loyal to it is die on a hill, like blood, sweat, and tears, shirt off your back type deal. The softball fan base is so bought in before anything has happened. It's so awesome to see. Also want to say this. I think it's pretty cool that your story but this is not the first time you've bet on something that wasn't built yet and completely bought in, right? You talked about your decision to go to Virginia before anything was laid out. Now here you are with your professional career doing the same thing and being a part of building something bigger than yourself. So I think that's a full circle moment, something really, really cool that you should be proud of. Before we round out, I got to ask, your boyfriend is in baseball, okay?
Yeah.
Mr. Kyle Teal. I cover baseball, so I'm aware. How do you manage, Miss Queen, being a professional athlete yourself, working in the front office, and then being a support system for another professional athlete?
Yeah. I mean, if I told you the stuff that I have done, like, I mean, last year, he got called up last year in June, and we had just started living together. And I'm just going to set the stage a little bit for you.
Please.
So I was working in Boston, and I was done working in Boston. He was in AAA in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he was like, all right, come live with me, and, you'll look for a job here. And I was like, perfect. So I move all of my stuff into the apartment with him. A week later, I get the call that I can go play in Kansas City. So I'm like, all right, I'm leaving in 4 days. But then that same weekend, he gets the call that he's going to the big leagues. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, both of us are going to play right now. What are we going to do? Luckily, I was able to make it to his MLB debut. And I go to Chicago, watch his first 2 games, then I fly to Kansas City and I start playing, because that's what I was planning on doing before he got called up. And then once my season in Kansas City finished, I had to fly back to Charlotte, North Carolina, load all of our belongings from our apartment into my tiny car because his truck got stolen the day before he got called up. So he had no truck.
Oh no.
And it gets worse. It gets worse. But I ended up driving to Chicago. We're living there. He got called up so late in the season that there were no like short-term leases. So we lived in a hotel for 4 months. I went on every single away trip.
Girl.
So every 3 days, every 6 days, we were flying to the West Coast, flying somewhere. And he was playing, I was watching. And once his season ended, we went to, New Jersey, which is where his family lives. His dad owns a baseball school. He's got a trainer there. And we train together all off season. So it's really a blessing because we play the same position, and like we just have always worked together and worked well together. So it's been really fun.
Shit. That's what I have to say to that. I have to say, I'm going to give my own context here. So I obviously work with a lot of softball and baseball players. My boyfriend is a former MLB player, was drafted by the Red Sox in '09. Did the whole MLB thing for a couple years, played in Korea, broke his hand. Didn't play baseball for 8 years until an indie ball team this past summer calls him and is like, any shot you would want to just try pitching again? So we moved to Chicago. We live in a hotel, much smaller scale, but my whole point for saying this, the respect that I have for baseball girlfriends, wives, partners, unmatched, because you are handling everything, every errand, every need, every phone call, every this isn't, every bit, it's all of it. And my respect for you, because you are also a professional. I don't know how you do it. But to our viewers, the next time you are around a baseball or an athlete, girlfriend, wife, partner, just give them some respect because it is a full-time job. So you are, I don't know how you do it, but props to you. I just had to, I felt like there was a story there because I know that's not easy when they get called up and you're playing and all that kind of stuff. So there was in fact a story there.
There was. And there's so many stories. I mean, it's just been a whirlwind since both of us started playing, but it's been so fun.
If you were, we'll round out here. I've already kept you so long, but if you were to talk to a 12-year-old catcher from Ohio that is looking at you and is like, oh, I think I could do that, what would you want her to know before before embarking on this huge softball journey ahead of her?
Yeah, I mean, I would want her to know that she can absolutely do it if she puts her mind to it. I mean, I was never the biggest, the strongest, never hit the most home runs or ran the fastest, but I showed up every day and I played as hard as I possibly could, and I poured into my teammates and was the best teammate that I could possibly be. And, those two things got me where I am today. And I feel like any little girl who, if you haven't watched me or you're going to watch me, you'll see that when I step on the field, I'll be wearing I have pink gear. I'll be wearing pink gear. I'll probably have jewelry on, but I'm also really fiery and really passionate, and I want them to know that they can be both. They can be a girl, and they can also be a really fierce competitor at the same time.
Oh, I love that. I haven't gotten that one yet on this show, so that was great. A great little piece for young catchers, young players to hear in general. Mm-hmm. All right, June 17th is opening day.
Yeah, June 17th is home opener.
Home opener. So when is the opening day for the PSL in general?
Yeah, so Diamonds, we start on June 11th. We go to Atlanta, Georgia, and then, our home opener is June 17th, and we're really excited to keep going from there.
Well, Leah, thank you for hopping on with me today. Y'all make sure you give her a follow, and the Kansas City Diamonds. Give the PSL a follow, too. We're watching all the women's sports this summer, all the softball leagues. Leah, you were awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.